The game will be played on December 10th at the Al Tumama Stadium, where the winner of this match will go on to play the winner of England versus France. Let's talk a bit about the results so far for each team en route to the quarterfinals. For Morocco, the top Group F ahead of Croatia, Belgium, and Canada, then ousted one-trick pony Spain in the round of 16 in a game which ended 0-0 after extra time, winning it 3-0 on penalties. For Portugal, the top Group H ahead of South Korea, Uruguay, and Ghana, then absolutely hammered Switzerland 6-1 in the round of 16. Let's talk about the players who could have an immense impact on this quarterfinal match. These players I call the X Factors. And let's start with Morocco. So let's start with Achraf Hakimi. Born in Madrid, Spain, he scored a Panenka in a penalty shootout to knock Spain out of the World Cup. The man has cojones the size of grapefruits and ice water in his veins. He's skillful, he's dynamic, he's swift, and mature beyond his age. Morocco needs another big performance from their talisman. Then we have Hakim Ziyech. He's been mediocre for Chelsea, but when he puts on the national jersey, he turns into the player we know he can be. He has a wicked left foot, plays with a lot of energy, and loves to take on players, and his vision is 2020. Then we have the captain Romain Saiss. He's the leader, the rock at the back, only an own goal conceded at the World Cup and under new coach Walid Regragui. Just to add, Morocco didn't even concede in the penalty shootout. Saiss got injured in the round of 16 match against Spain, but looked in better shape than his centre-back partner Nayef Aguerd. Morocco are going to need him for what is the biggest game of their lives. Now let's talk about the X Factors for Portugal. We're going to start things off with Gonzalo Ramos. New kid on the block, scored the first hat-trick of the 2022 World Cup, repaid his coach's faith and the gamble to play him ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo. But can he live up to expectations now? The pressure is on. Then let's talk about Bruno Fernandes, the puppet master, provider, and finisher. Having a great World Cup so far with 3 assists and 2 goals. When he's smiling, Portugal are at their best. And how could we talk X Factors without mentioning Pepe, the oldest member of the squad, the leader of the defense at this World Cup, probably only playing because Danilo picked up an injury, but he's put in some good shifts. With his no-nonsense approach, it's hard to believe he's still playing at such high levels. In terms of competitive head-to-head between the two teams, they have 2 previous meetings, both coming at the FIFA World Cup. In 1986, Portugal lost 3-1 to Morocco, but defeated them 1-0 in 2018. Now let's talk about how each team could line up in this massive quarterfinal game. All right, let's start with Morocco, who does play a 4-3-3 formation under Walid Regragui. We're going to take a look at the lineup that they played against Spain, of course. Yassine Bouna should be in goal, only conceded once all World Cup, and that was an own goal scored by Nayef Aguerd. We take a look at the back line here. There'll be some concerns for Morocco in this game. Hakimi would be fit. Nusaya Masroui should be fit and ready to go as well. But Morocco are sweating the fitness of both Nayef Aguerd and Romain Saiss. Saiss appeared to be in better shape than Nayef Aguerd, who seemed rather distraught after he left the field because he's just come back from a long-term injury himself. So if he's not available to feature, we could see Jawad El Yamik, who came off the bench for him in the Spain game, play from the start against Portugal. But Nayef Aguerd would indeed be a big miss for Morocco. And they'll be hoping that Saiss is 100, maybe not 100, but at least 75% ready to go. In the midfield, I expect it to remain the same with Azzedine Ounahi and Sofiane Amrabat playing like ballers. And Salim Amala, I expect him to play as well, where Morocco should be in a more defensive shape against Portugal, just the way they were set up against Spain. And up top, Hakim Ziyech, Yusuf Enezari, and Sofiane Boufal should indeed hold down their places once again. But if Walid Regragui want to change things up a bit, because the team seemed a bit winded at the end there against Spain, he could bring in Abde Ezal Zuli in place of Sofiane Boufal. I don't expect Morocco to make too many changes. They've only changed out 1 player so far at the World Cup, and that's Semi Amala for Abdelhamid Sabiri, and vice versa. All right, now to talk about Portugal's potential 11. They do set up in the 4-3-3 formation under Fernando Santos. And listen, to all of our surprise, in the last game, he pulled a shocker. He made some big changes that we weren't expecting. And look, he has to stick to his guns, because if he reverts to that old Fernando Santos where he's gonna revert back to the previous team, they might as well pack their bags and go back to Portugal, because this last team here against Switzerland completely decimated Lanati. So Diego Costa is expected to be in goal, and I do expect the backline to remain the same with Dallo, Pepe, Ruben Diaz, and Rafa Guerreiro. The only change I could see being made is Rafa Guerreiro dropping out for Joao Cancelo, but I don't see any reason to make that change at all. We move up to the midfield where Otavio, William Carvalho, and Bernardo Silva, listed in the midfield, has to remain the same. You do not change a team that just hammered a quality team like Switzerland 6-1. We move up into the forward positions: Bruno Fernandes, Gonzalo Ramos, the hat-trick hero, and Joao Felix. We could see Rafael Leao coming in because he's been in good goal-scoring form. But yet again, if you're superstitious, you leave the team the same. You leave Ronaldo on the bench, and maybe you don't even bring him on. I'm just kidding, man. He could get a little run out, a little 15 minutes or 10. But I don't expect many changes from Fernando Santos here in this massive quarterfinal game against Morocco. All right, so let's take a look at some key insights for both teams. Let's start with number 2 here for Morocco. There have been 11 previous games in the knockout stages of the World Cup between African and European teams, with 9 of those being won by the European side. The 2 exceptions are Senegal's 2-1 extra time victory over Sweden in 2002 in the round of 16, and Morocco's penalty shootout over Spain in the previous round this year. Morocco are looking to become the first African team to qualify for the semi-final of a World Cup tournament. Each of the previous 3 African sides to reach a quarterfinal were all eliminated at this stage: Cameroon in 1990, Senegal in 2002, and Ghana in 2010. And we have another one. Morocco come into this match on a 5-game unbeaten run at the World Cup, 2 wins and 3 draws, the longest ever streak without defeat in the competition. 4 of these games have come under Walid Regragui, 2 wins and 2 draws, who will become the first African manager to take charge of a World Cup quarterfinal in this match. Let's give it up to Walid Regragui, man. History maker, pace setter, trendsetter. As for Portugal, this will be their 3rd quarterfinal at the World Cup, while they've progressed in each of the previous 2. 5-3 versus DPR Korea in 1966, and 3-1 in a penalty shootout versus England in 2006. Portugal scored as many goals in their last game versus Switzerland, 6, as they had in their previous 8 matches in the World Cup knockout stages combined. Wow. All right, let's predict this match. Ah, boy, the most difficult part. Look, Portugal. Let's start with Portugal. Started well, 3-2 win over Ghana, but they looked a bit shaky, allowing Ghana to come back into the game. Improved performance against Uruguay, 2-0 win, but changed up the team a bit and looked a bit shaky. South Korea won the game. But they said, hey man, we're not playing any games here. Fernando Santos dropped Ronaldo. He brought in Gonzalo Ramos, round of 60, 6-1. These guys mean business. Are they going to continue in this vein of form? This rich vein of form is left to be seen. But for Morocco, they've only conceded 1 goal so far this World Cup, and that was an own goal. They didn't even concede in the penalty shootout. These guys don't want to concede anything. And not because Switzerland got smacked for 6 in cricket terms that Portugal are going to do the same to Morocco. It's not going to happen unless the Moroccans are winded, they're tired, and they just can't go on anymore. Like they've just ran their race. But I don't see that happening, because even though a few guys look a bit tired, there was some other guys who look like they could go on for another 90. So expect this to be a very, very feisty game of football where Portugal should have most of the ball and should be attacking for most of the game, with Morocco keeping their shape and being compact, keeping a low block, trying to keep them out. Like Rodri came out and said that Morocco didn't play any type of football. They just sat back, defended, and countered and that was their route towards getting a goal. But come on, what are you supposed to do? Portugal got the more quality players on paper, of course, and throughout the squad. You got to be tactical. You have to use your brain. You can't take the game to this Portuguese team and expect not to leave holes in behind. You see what I'm saying? So Morocco, they have to be smart. They have to be strategic. And that's what got them so far in the World Cup this time around. Beating Belgium, they left it till late. They beat Canada coming back from behind, a 0-0 draw with Croatia, and ousted Spain of all teams, who attempted to knock them out through 1,000 passes. Unsuccessful, one shot on target throughout the whole game. Is this going to be the case against Portugal? It could be similar. It could be very, very similar. But for Morocco, the key for them to win this game is to stay in the game for as long as possible. They're going to be on the back foot. They won't have a lot of the ball. Expect them to have maybe 25% of the ball, but they are a dangerous team in transition on the counterattack. If a guy like Azadine Onahi or Sofiane Amrabat wins the ball in midfield, high up the field, they could break and they could punish you. Let's say Chedira was a bit more clinical. Listen, that game would not have gone to penalties. So the Moroccan players need to be clinical in the final third when they do get their opportunities. Because let me tell you something. When Portugal get these opportunities, when they get a clear view on goal, a clear shot, if you allow space just outside the box and you don't close down a player like Bruno, a Gonzalo Ramos, a Rafael Leao, they're going to punish you. They are going to punish you. Morocco knows what they need to do. They know. I don't need to tell. They know what they need to do. But it's been a valiant effort. They've been flying the flag high for Africa throughout the World Cup. They're done playing the whole Arab thing. I could understand. You don't want to get too political. But they've represented. Let's just say that they've represented. And even if they do get knocked out now, it would have been a great achievement, their best ever in their football history. And they would have a launching pad to work on going forward. Like, I won't doubt this team again. You see what I'm saying? Back when the teams met in 2018, it was a very, very closely fought game. Ronaldo scored early, and Morocco kept them honest throughout the rest of the match. I could see it being a similar game, but Morocco would want to avoid conceding that early goal. They would want to get that early goal and try to keep Portugal at bay and grind out a 1-0 win or to take it to extra time. But guys, to keep it real though, what I've seen from this Portuguese team, they're showing a lot of intent. The squad is deep, a lot of talent, and it's going to be tough for Morocco to beat them. Seriously. They're good all across the field. Pepe, Ruben Diaz at the back, Dalot's been playing well. Diego Costa not tested enough, in my opinion, but they have a good midfield core. Bernardo Silva is going to run all game. William Carvalho has been an anchor for them there. Bruno Fernandes, he's going to be dangerous. Gonzalo Ramos, he's got his tail up. Rafael Leao or João Felix could be very dangerous. And the elephant in the room, Cristiano Ronaldo, has a point to prove if he comes off the bench or if he starts the game. It's going to be a tough task for Morocco to keep this team quiet. The key for Fernando Santos is to play the same 11 or just change a few personnel, but leave Ronaldo on the bench. He sucks the energy out the team. When they won the Euros, he wasn't playing. You see what I'm saying? He needs to sit on the bench and come on as an impact sub in case they need a goal or where they're already running away with the match. I know it's sad that we're seeing his decline some sort, closing in on 200 caps. He's got over 100 goals, but you got to make the right decisions that suit the team and not the player. With all that being said, guys, my prediction, I'm going to go for Portugal to win the game 1-0. Just 1-0 within 90 minutes. I would love to see Morocco win this match and move into the semis to become the first African team to make the semis. But guys, it's going to take a lot. It's a big call. And I really hope the Moroccan team proved me wrong here, because I love the story. I love the story. I have absolutely nothing against Portugal, even though I didn't predict them to move on against Switzerland. They smacked around Switzerland. I'm going to go for Portugal this time around, because I was kind of dreaming in the round of 16, to be honest. I wanted to see some underdog teams go through. And Portugal, I think, could have been a casualty. But they said no. So listen. I come back to my senses a bit. Portugal 1, Morocco 0 is my prediction, guys. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Go check out all the other previews for the quarterfinals that I have on the channel. Would definitely appreciate that. And from your boy Dom, until next time, peace out. Rich Squad. Peace.